It's Wednesday Wellness, everybody. Good morning, good evening, and we wish you wellness. I am here with you on this Wednesday Wellness where our thinking is always get well, be well, and stay well. Welling yourself, when you think about it, can be on any level. It can be emotionally, it can be physically, it can be mentally, spiritually. Whatever you're taking in, let me start by asking you the very first question. Your life. Your life is just like that jar. It represents your life, and as you see it, you may put into that jar whatever you would like to place there. But can I tell you something? It's going to be what you choose. What are you choosing? We're going to talk about that jar. We are really going to talk about it because I think it's important, and I came up with the concept, and I think it's important. You know, anything we consume can be palatable, and yummy, and some things we receive can be palatable but not so yummy. It can harm us. When you look at yourself and your representation of what and who you have become or what you've been going through, how are you faring with that? Do you choose to pour into your life what is palatable deliciously or palatable dangerously? You know, life is full of things. Excitement. What else is life full of? Disappointment, frustration. Today we're going to be using jars. Okay, and what I want you to do is look at your jars. You're going to look at them as a way of envisioning. And as you envision, I did seasonings because in our life we use seasonings for food. Okay. And if I were in the office, the healing center right now, I would have you do this, and you can try this because at the end, it can be something that you'll use or something that you're not going to use. So let's talk about it, shall we? We're going to talk about it, and I've got my chart here. Got my chart here, and looking for good morning, Trish. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, and I'm doing well.
Good. So now we're going to talk about, I just need to have that chart. And what did I do with it? Okay. Let's think about this. Hold on just a minute. I can't find it. No, I thought it was here. I'm sorry, guys. I thought it was here. Okay. Just one moment. Just one moment. What am I doing? We are live. Okay. Alright, that's what I'll look at. Okay. There we go. I tell you, I write so much. And I totally forget what I have. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, we're here. Okay. So as we look at our lives, we have anger, frustration. What else do we have? We have conflict and can you see the jar on your side, Trish?
No, I can't.
Okay. I have it. Are you still here?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Let's talk about it. I found it. So we have in the middle, you can place your jar. And I'll tell you some fun things you can do with this after it's a workshop. Every time you come into Wednesday Wellness, there will be a workshop. And I use it as well with the clients that I see one-on-one and group. So you have conflict, disappointment, fear. You have anger, frustration, left side. And then on the right side, you have mindset, respect, confidence. And what it is you're being able to pour out. And I want to ask you this question because it's so important. What part can you still hear me?
I can hear you now.
I'm so sorry. Okay. So as we're looking at parts of our life, when you think about your life, parts are pouring into your life more readily. What would you say, Trish? Sorry about that. What parts are pouring into your life more readily? What would you say?
I would say confidence is pouring into my life more readily, and a little bit of frustration as well.
Okay. You want to tell us about that? What the frustration and the confidence is?
Sure. Basically confidence my in myself, in my career, and confidence in me and discovering me in my journey, because I'm still growing as I'm starting a new chapter in my life. And also there's frustration in there where I don't have it all together sometimes, and I get frustrated that I didn't get it right away. And I get frustrated because I don't know. And it's frustrating for me because I'm the person that wants to know everything and that should know everything. That's me. but I came to the realization that I don't, and sometimes it's frustrating in that. So that is the confidence and frustration pouring into me.
Yes. What about the other one? How do you feel about that one? You said confidence and what was it? Conflict?
I said frustration.
Frustration. I'm sorry. Is that the only one that you had?
Yeah, I said confidence and frustration. Those are the only two I could think of right now.
Mine is frustration and conflict. You know, you tell somebody something and you explain it, you know, in your lifetime, and it's like it's never been said before. I'm experiencing a lot of that, which is conflict in relationships, because it's as if they don't hear you. And I want everyone to think about this. I did have worksheets, and I'm going to have to forego them because I had them. So life is like those seasonings, and I want to talk about that. Let's talk about that. How many of you have had food that has been over seasoned?
I
Anybody?
have.
Yeah. Is that palatable to you where you would eat it anyways?
No.
Yeah. So life is what you pour into it. You can over season by taking on too much. My frustration is from conflict. Lately, it has been that, and I am so over the top right now. But if you can see, and we will post this because I think it's well illustrated, today's emotions are managing your emotions. And it's going to be Emotions by Mariah Carey today. That's a song. Title is Managing Your Emotions. And what we're doing now is, as we post the song, we want you to listen to the podcast. So on this song will be linked today's podcast, and on the podcast will be today's song, so that you never miss a beat. Get it? So now, when we think about our seasonings, even scripturally, it talks about seasoning your words with salt. Salt is a preservation. If you use it too much, it's overpowering. And if you use it too little, it could make everything bland. And there are some people like me that really don't use it at all because of high blood pressure. I want you to think about this. What are you pouring into your life? As you look at your seasonings, I have a picture that describes it beautifully. It just describes it so well, with each seasoning pouring out. The larger jar is still empty. You know, people make a lot of sense out of pouring into something. You could make this as a jar of seasoning, a jar of rubs, or you can even do it with sweet things, any kind of spices, so that you'll always have it. But the purpose of this, as you'll see the jar, you'll see the placement today when we put it up live and when we put it in our YouTube page. It is about what you are pouring out. What feelings? Trish and I kind of uh, did a little demo for you in the few minutes that we were on here. We did a demo for you regarding emotions. We deal with emotions and feelings here at the Healing Center and on podcast, such as this one. What feelings have you been dealing with lately? Has it been more of a feeling of fear, anger, frustration, calm? What feeling have you been dealing with just lately? I want you guys to ponder over that. Think about it for a moment and write it down. And have you overseasoned your palate, your life, your jar with those feelings? Or is your life balanced? Is it well seasoned? Is it overpowering? Sometimes you can do too much. I talked about the frustration in your life. What does that mean when you are frustrated with something? We're going to take a look at it because I think it's important to think about these emotions, and we all have them. When we have them, we have annoyance. We might even couple that with unexpected delays, unresolved problems, stress from lack of support, interpersonal conflicts where there is broken communication. Lately, I have been feeling that. So I'm here to tell you about it. Sometimes signs of frustration are despair, impatient, become angry or annoyed. How many times have you been so frustrated that you just say, anybody ever done that?
I have.
Yeah, when was the last time you did that?
Last week when me and my sister we had a disagreement, and I honestly was so frustrated. I didn't know what to do, so I just sighed. I just did that. I was like, and then I walked off. That was it.
Yeah. So whatever you were feeling at that time, would you say you were frustrated?
I was.
Okay. See, and it's important for us to know how to deal with that. And after you sighed, what did you do after that?
I walked off.
Okay. Did you know that one of the things is to walk away so that you can regroup? Because what starts to happen is if you're staying in that frustration, you begin to feel overwhelmed. But as soon as you address it, it becomes manageable. Because if you take a pause from that, that pause is your salt of life. Your salt of life and how you're going to manage that emotion. When someone is frustrated, you must listen. listen and listen so that they are able to vent. Sometimes you do more good by just listening. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes you do more by listening. Some of us have conflict. Lately, there has been conflict in relationships. Because why? Because I am healing. I am no longer tolerant of the past me. And do I mean tolerant in a bad way? I mean tolerant in a way that is healing to me. You know, sometimes you hear people say things and you see people do things and you just let it go until one time too much is being poured into the jar that I hold. The jar, if you can envision that, we all have that in our kitchens, in our pantries, and we keep things in them. Would you say yours is empty right now? Because I just said too much conflict. Whereas if it were on your palate, your tongue, it would feel overpowering. You would not like, you would not want, you would say no. You wouldn't consume it because it's overpowering. Let's look at that for a moment. Conflicts. What have been some of the conflicts in the lives of you guys? Our number is 1-888-721-9260. And our lines are open. And when we think about conflict, we're feeling mixed emotions. We're not able to choose. Sometimes we pour too much of our emotion, too little of it, not enough. Because with that we ruminate. As you envision yourself pouring into your jar, your feelings are torn. You're unable to choose between your thoughts, your desires, and your decisions. Conflict. And when it comes up, it is like a hard choice. There are seasonings out there that are coarse. Anybody know any seasonings like that are harsh? I think of horseradish. You ever had that? I'm not going to tell you to try it. Sometimes there are peppers, and I mean grounded peppers. Black pepper can be harsh.
Garlic.
Garlic, yeah. We're thinking of food and what we intake. Sometimes life becomes harsh. But when you are conflicted, although I'm not a doctor, I am, however, a certified life coach and counselor. What happens to us physically? We have heaviness. Sometimes we have headaches. Our body begins to experience the stress of conflict. Conflict in the relationships. We began to have clashes, and clashes with people that we love, disliking their actions maybe, but we still love them. We think about the impact that conflict has on us in our mental health, anxiety, stress, emotional exhaustion. How do we gain control of it? You know, I always say we need to name that emotion. Conflicted. I have been conflicted in relationships. You love the people, you love the person, you love the thing, but you just are overwhelmed. You're in between decisions about that person, place, or thing. So you have to identify, because whatever side you're picking from the root cause of the conflict, there's always two sides. It's like a battle, one against the other. So what do? You think about the disadvantages versus all the advantages. What is your long-term value as you identify what is important in that conflicted relationship, thing, place, or person? I want you to be able to look at it so that you gain clarity. And here are some things. Many families make decisions to have children. So there's family relationships, friend relationships, loyalties between them. There's also independence, or having a need for connection. You have to choose in life between this and between that. Sometimes life does not afford the opportunity to give you all things. You must choose. Let's talk about another one, fear. And I want to do it in relations to food, because you'll see the poster and you'll understand why I'm doing this. And it is something that we will do in my workshop, and we'll have a lot of fun, and you'll get to take home whatever you made. You'll be able to take it home, whatever's in your jar. Whether you use it or not, that'll be up to you. But I want to talk about fear. Fear, something that I fear. That's a seasoning. Oh my goodness. I cannot take the hottest hot sauce. I don't know what that is yet, but I do like hot food. But if I'm going to try the hottest hot sauce as a dry seasoning, I think the color would be red. Fear. That 4-letter word. When was the last time you felt fear? last night the power went out, and I gotta tell you, I felt a bit fearful because I hate waking up and everything is dark. Ever done that? It's a good thing I didn't stub my toe with fear. I'm finally getting on an airplane, and I fear that. But where we're going is where I want to be, and that's at Disney World. So I'm excited and fearful. So when was the last time that you had fear? Is that poured into your life more than it needs to be? All of us have a sense of fear, a healthy fear, and there is healthy fears. You know that thing about your palate either liking something or reacting to the dislike of something? You can have that happen in your fear. That, okay, that's a healthy fear that you told your child not to run across the street because cars are coming. That's healthy. But a fear of, let's say you've had an experience, and I'll give you a scenario so that you'll understand it better. You've been in an accident, or someone in your family or a loved one has been in some kind of accident or medical emergency, and you hear ambulance, police sirens, and all that. So every time you hear the sound of those things, you have a fear because of the experience. Like I told you guys about my dog bite and how I have a fear of dogs naturally. If I don't know you, I will have that fear. So there is healthy and unhealthy. Let's talk about that. That is a powerful. How many of you have something that is powerful that you have as a seasoning? It's powerful and unpleasant, and it creates a physical reaction. I can think of one right now. Onions. How many of you have ever cut up an onion?
I have.
What's the reaction to it? The physical reaction to it?
The eyes start watering.
Yeah, why is that? Why? If you ever cut up an onion and didn't react with tears, please call in 1-888-721-9260. Please call in. But you see what I'm talking about? That can be, if you overpower your meat, your salads, your vegetables with that, are you going to eat it? What do you think?
No, because it's too strong. Like if an onion touches something, it makes everything taste like onion. So it's too strong.
Yes. So what do? Every time you see that onion, you know the physical reaction. And you say, oh, this is going to make it. Scientifically, there must be something that controls that. But your tears are uncontrollably when you are cutting an onion. It's funny how the body reacts to that. Is that poured over into your life, into your jar, too much? I want you to think about overwhelming, how the reaction of your body is to something, some emotion, something in your life that has made you react just like that. And it has been a powerful moving force. And what does the body do? It does one of three things, or all three. Fight, flee, or freeze. Remember that. Fight, flight, or freeze. That, my dear, is fear. When you think about danger, your body immediately alarms you. Or when you're in the presence of it, you are trying to survive it. And many of you who have walked into the healing center doors, you know what you've done? You've told me, I don't know how to handle it. But you have been handling it. Self-preservation. A mental state of fear is bringing on the worry of it. So your body does what? It has a feeling of dread. I don't want to do this. And what's your physical reaction? Rapid heartbeat, perhaps. Adrenaline rushes. Who can think of a time, and I'm asking this as a question for the workshop today, who can think of a time where the body, the adrenaline just starts rushing while you are presently in the moment of fear, the 4-letter word. Think about that. But now, what do we do with these feelings? What do we do? There's a lot we can choose to do, but before I go on, I want to cover one more. Disappointment. When was the last time you felt disappointed? Can you think of a time?
I was disappointed last week Friday.
What happened and why?
So I was substituting middle schoolers, and I was very disappointed about how I went over the assignment with some of them, and they just refused not to do it. And I was so disappointed about how I took my time to go over the assignment, and they listened, they understood, and they still didn't do it. So I was and I was also disappointed I had to write a note to the teacher as well. So yeah, that's why I was disappointed.
Yeah. So you had a failed outcome. But now when you think about that disappointment, is it your disappointment because you didn't do something? Or is it your disappointment that you felt because you expected them to follow through with the assignment? See how that works?
Yeah. Yeah, I was disappointed because I expected them to follow with the assignment. That's why I was disappointed.
Yeah. See how you emotionally understood that? Yeah, dissatisfaction from unmet expectation. So, what do we do with things that we're disappointed in relationships, in our family life? How do we do it? We need to allow ourselves to feel instead of suppressing it. That's what I'm learning to do too. In fact, I just called someone up and said, hey, you have time today? I need to really talk. Even counselors need to talk. Seriously. So when we think about our feelings, I want you to think about two things when you learn to cope with them is to Think about your expectations. Trish had a valid expectation. It was realistic. She explained the assignment. The kids responded with nothing. They didn't understand. They didn't do. Now, their choice could have been they didn't want to do it. They understood the assignment, but they didn't want to do it. So now what does that require still the next time that comes up in life? Because as educators, teachers, counselors, coaches, we're going to be giving assignments. And that doesn't mean that everybody's going to understand it. We have to allow ourselves to be able to speak about it, acknowledge, and validate. This is how I felt about it. And when we think about it, we have to be kind to ourselves. When we have an experience that disappoints us, we can turn that around so that it becomes a learning process. Learning process. When we experience disappointment or feeling like a failure, it can make us feel hopeless. We are disappointed in a relationship. And I like to talk about relationship because we're all living in a human world. We all live humanly and we're all in a relationship of some kind or another. You say, no, I'm not. And I ask you how many pets you have. You say one. And I say, you're in a relationship. You say, I don't have any kids. And I say, who is your mother and who is your father? That is a relationship. So let's understand this. But what in that relationship, when it comes to disappointment, can arise? Let's think about that. Emotional distance, not trusting, tension, expectations of others are not met. It's an experience we've all had. What can we do about it? Disappointment. We can use it as a tool. Too much disappointment can lead to a negative, just like too much of a seasoning. Overpowering, too hot, yuck, that was terrible, or yuck, or yum, I learned from that. How many of you have ever had cinnamon without the sugar? Anybody?
I have.
Or chocolate without the sweetening? Anybody?
I have.
How did it taste to you?
It has a bland taste. It tastes like nothing, but
Yeah,
you know it's chocolate.
yeah, yeah. Cinnamon has a spicy kind of, to me anyways, a spicy kind of thing, nutmeg. But if you sweeten that up in cake and you say, oh, there's cinnamon in that, or there is cinnamon and sugar, because now I see in the grocery stores they're doing what we used to do as kids, cinnamon and sugar on a buttered toast.
I actually have that.
It's yummy. Go ahead. What was your experience from that?
It's very good. I put it in my coffee. I put it in my pancakes. Like it's very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So You can take a little disappointment, sweeten it up with something, and you have a learning, a tool for future things that you're going to do. Life can be calm, serene. Calm, serene. I said that for emphasis. And when we think about calmness in our life, do we pour into that? Because sometimes other people's chaos involves what? Other people's chaos. How many of you got what I just said? So you pour in the salt, the sugar, the paprika, the mustard, the ground onions, the black pepper. Other people's chaos causes other people's chaos. Now you've poured it into your jar. So what do you have? Whatever you're mixed with, whether it's calm, serene, now you've poured that into your jar. So what do you have? Do you have serene anymore? You've got chaos. It's taking a bunch of seasonings. While that may be fun and you can use it as a rub, that's an idea. With what we're doing today, you can use your seasoning. But I'm going to demonstrate it in one of our workshops. And I hope that you guys really will get a chance to come. You can create, by putting all those seasonings together, a chaotic lifestyle. I want to look at that because I want you guys to understand about your human emotion, okay? And what happens, you start blending all of that together. Your life could be just fine. We think about chaos. Let me give you some words. Unorganized, formless mass, disorder, confusion. You ever been in traffic? Heavy traffic? And it was jam-packed, bumper to bumper. You couldn't go anywhere. So what did you do? Did you feel lack of control? Did you feel blacked out? Did you try to void it? No. And even if you did feel that way, you had to deal with it. See, because you've taken your calm and quiet, your serenity, and you exchanged it, or you engaged with the chaos, the mix of things, the mayhem, the turmoil, the uproar, and whatever else, the havoc, the disarray of life. You have dealt with chaos. It's your jar. What do you put in it? Has your life, your jar of life, become all those seasonings? Somebody's saying, what did you put in that? And you can't even remember, and you're not even lying. Because you got so much going on that nobody knows what is in that jar. Because you put a little of this, a lot of that, and a bunch of this in an overwhelmingly full hand of this. That's what we do to ourselves in chaos. You like that chaos? Can you control with the salt of life as a preservation? That's not going in my jar. I want you today to think about the reason for why we're doing this. And we're going to post this today. I'm going to give it to Trish so you'll understand what that was all about. Can we manage our emotions successfully? Or do we feel like our emotions are out of control? We've all had those days. Some days we can manage it, while other days we cannot. What are you choosing to do? Because as I'm looking at it, my jar is not empty. Is your jar empty, Trish? The one that you have envisioned or thought about during this conversation?
Nope, it's not.
Yeah. So everyone today, I want you to make a jar. Even if you have a little jar, here's what I want you to do. Here's a fun thing. You can choose this or not, because we've been talking about seasoning, and you can use it. You can spice it with sweetener, or you can spice it with a rub, a dry rub. And I want you to envision your life with what it looks like to you. If you've got overwhelmingness in your life, what did we use for overwhelmingness? Onion. You can use onion powder. If you've got calm and quiet in your life, you can use that salt. The Bible talks about salt of the earth. You young people are running around talking about they're being salty. They're salty. So you get my drift, how you can use salt. The Bible also says to let your words be seasoned with salt. Preservation, again. Salt has been used for a lot of things, and that's why it represents calm. You will see on that poster very clearly it's in a preserved jar. But I want you guys to make one. And what will be fun is to tell me what you put in your jar. You can make it useful. I would have liked to use watercolors, but I think that would have defeated the purpose of what I'm saying about the emotions. We could do a color one, but I don't want to do it with the jar thing. I think that, to have a keepsake, you get the tiniest jar and do that. I hope you will. But anyways, today is Wednesday Wellness. And your wellness, it depends upon you. You can pour into it, or you can get nothing poured out of it. Your choice. Here's a reminder. In our controlling our emotions, may it be upon us to stay well. What I don't want is for you guys to bottle it up. I want you to be able to look at your life reflectively. I want you to be able to say, has there been too much going on in my life? Too much heat, too much chaos. You might got a lot of spice in your life, if you know what I'm talking about. And that's okay, as long as it's healthy. Or all the negative stuff, before you make your jars, think about what I'm saying. It's your choice. Remember, it's your jar. And what you keep up in it is what you're going to get out of it. And I'm going to leave that there. Thank you for joining me. Trish, thank you so much. I want to thank everybody who listens to us again. Manage your emotions. Okay. And our song is by Mariah Carey, Emotions. That will be linked to our song today's podcast, and then the song will link, or excuse me, the podcast will link the song, and the song will link the podcast. Why do we want it that way? Because you get why we are so choicy about our songs. Because when you listen to the podcast, you'll understand why we chose that song. Thank you, Trish. Thank you guys for another edition of Wednesday Wellness. I wish you well. Goodbye for now.